Just imagine, right? We have simple, you know, uh, next.js project. Okay, next.js project. We learn how to set up all that, right? That is fine. We can do that. You can add prettier, ESLint, everything. Just install the next.js project. Right? We have done that. We know that how to do. Next one is the question is to implement uh, Google Auth, basically Google provider, right? So implement next auth, right? Next auth version 5, and the provider is Google, right? Google and GitHub. GitHub. Fine. That is the requirement. So what we will do? So we know how to install, the next auth and configure the routes, API routes, API auth and the catch all routes and all that, right? Simple things. We have seen that before. What we're gonna do today, right? We're gonna configure Google console, and then configure the GitHub for OAuth, I believe OAuth, right? Something like that. Okay. So these are the two things, and then uh, third, fourth, right? Fourth will be, add the .env file, means basically add all the variables to .env file. So add .env files, all the variable, right? variables, sorry guys. So we can add all the variables for the Google and the GitHub in the .env file. The next we can do is basically configure the auth, right? Auth file, so that we will be able to log in from Google and provider, right? So let's do that. So this is the, let me remove for now, right? Remove that. We'll come back here. So first, if you look at configure, implement nextauth v5 provider Google GitHub, right? For Google and GitHub, fine. Configure Google console. So in order to use the Google, right, Gmail or Google provider as a login provider, we have to go to the, first you just log in, right, to your Gmail account. So what I will do, I'm just gonna connect to my this email, right? And then I will open the console. This is the link, okay? Console cloud Google, something like that, right? So if you click on the maybe API service here, so you will reach here. This is the dashboard, right, for the console. So I will just put this link somewhere here, and later I will let me add, right? Okay, so that's the link you will get on the page, I mean in the GitHub letter. So the thing is, you have to create project, right? See the what what is the project name? I mean, basically you create a project inside this console. How you can do that? Click on here and new project. Okay, so I'm still logged into my old account, right? Let me change that, switch to this one, because old, in my old one I think there is a lot of project, right? So let's look at now the auth here, OAuth, or maybe credential, whatever you can look at. These are the two things we have to set up, okay? But before we start, okay, so I have next auth already here, right? I have next auth already, one project, right? Let me show you by creating the new project. So I will just click there, add new project. See the button here, new project. Then I will give the name of my project. I will call it next auth, like V5, right? Something like that. No organization. So just give the name of your project. Any name you can just give and create. So it will, just create a new project, right? It's just creating right now. Yeah. Now select the project, which one you want to work, right? Select that one. So I will click now this one. That's the project I'm going to work. And you can see here, just see the project name came, just appear on the top, right? So I have a lot of things here. Now you can see a lot of things here. What I will do is I just click on the API service. Yeah. APIs here, you have to be, API service, right? Once we are here, now let's click on OAuth consent screen, right? Just click on this first, okay? Then you select external, right? Internal means I think within the organization, you can specify like how many people can log in, all that, right? That is internal, I believe. So in our case, we just create external, then create, you know, so the name of app again, just give it next, next auth, something like V5, right? That is fine. That was the project name, right? That's okay. You just call the name, app name, anything you can name here. Let's call it, you know, next, maybe class, right? Or what I can call next app. Okay, fine. Now you put the email ID. So when you click, right, you will get the email you are logged in. Just use that one for now. App logo, here the logo will be required, right? When you need the approval, like uh, when this login system will go in production, when your app is in production, you have to get approval from the Google, right, in order to make this work. So in that time, you have to add the logo and all that, okay? But right now we don't need, just leave it. App domain, right? So we don't have the, the production domain. So what you can do is, right now I'll just log in from http localhost 3000. Just copy and put it all in three places, right? I believe that is okay. Yeah. Okay. Next, authorized domain. We don't have to add, so this is good enough. And then you need to put your developer contact information, right? Just use the same email ID what you have here, or you can put any other, right? Okay, so just add here and save and continue. All right, so next one is add the remove, like add or remove scope, right? What is the scope now? Remember, let's say John, right? John is the person who tried to log into my website. Okay, they will go here and try to log in, right? Now if they will click on sign in and click on the Google, sign in with Google, right, or GitHub, let's say Google, it get error, you have to try again, right? So I have to fix that error also. So I'll just select, whatever my email is, I select. When I'm selecting, right, the I'm giving the, basically whoever is trying to log in, the person has to give the some kind of access to the information, like your name, image, something like that, right? So that that can be displayed inside the website. Okay, so if I just select maybe this one, right? So if I click here, you can see, my name appear here, right? You can see that. So these are the information, okay, which you can access from this by giving the approval. Anyone who can access, I'm asking them, okay, I will take your approval for these two information. You can give more, but this is enough, right? Just give like first two. Okay, so there will be like you can see primary Google email and maybe personal information like name, something like that. So that is what we select, update, right? Done. I believe, let's say, yeah, let's continue, save and continue. And test user, right? So you have to give one, you can add up to 100 user, right, for testing. Right now you are the only one who gonna test. So let's add the same email ID, right? Same email for testing purpose. Let's click add, right? Just click add, and that email will be added here. Okay, you can see the email here. Okay? You can add many more email, right? Because this is just testing for right now, testing. Once you go production, you just say anyone can log in, right? It's okay. Save and continue. So done. Back to dashboard. So we have done the auth consent screen, right? We have done that. Okay, next thing is uh, credential, right? Let's complete the credential. And in here, create credential. Click on this, right? Create credential, and you go to OAuth client ID. Select this one, and after that, you select what kind of like application you are developing, right? Our is just a web application, website. Name of your application, so next app, just give it that. So here, right, authorized JavaScript origin. So I believe, yeah, okay, let's add, no problem. So you can do HTTP. You have to put the route, right? Slash localhost colon 3000, right? And you can use the same thing for the uh, I think even if we don't add here, it will work, right? I believe, but let's put here also. This one is required, okay? Redirect, right? So remember, when you try to log in, you should be redirecting to the next auth API route. So what is the API route here? If you go app, right? API, API auth, you must, your callback function, right? Google or maybe GitHub must go here to get the access, right? Like basically to act, the get information about the login information like ID, secret key, and all that, right? It must go here. Okay, so for that, we have http localhost 3000 slash API slash auth slash callback. So the callback function will send here, and you can call, I think, Google, right? Google. So this is what we have to add. Okay, let's go to the let's go back here, right? Next, what is that? Hmm, this one, next. I don't know why it's not coming up. So this is the old one, right? We have to go to the latest one, so that will be here, somewhere here, but that information even I can find this place, right? So if I have to set up, let's say, Google, where is the Google, right? And then just click on this console developer, whatever here. Yeah, so you see, this is this thing you have to set up, right? In your callback function, just put this. Later in development, right, this link will only change. Okay, it will be like whatever https / local, I mean e5.com, something like that, right? So this is the redirect URL for now. That is what we added here. This one, right? API auth callback, HTTP localhost 3000 API auth callback Google. That is what we need, right? And create. That is all we have to do, and it should give us the client ID and the client secret, right? So just copy the client ID and go to your env file and put it there. So this is Google, so client ID is this, right? Here, okay, and then client secret, just copy this and put it here. So remember the name here, this must be same like this: auth underscore Google ID, auth underscore Google secret, right? This is how it work with the v5. Auth GitHub ID, auth GitHub secret, okay? So that's how it work with v5, right? So close, okay, just click that. See, if you get, let's say you by mistake you came here, you don't know how to get, right? Just click on edit here, and you will reach on this page, right? And you can find your client ID here and client secret here, okay? Or even I think you don't have to click edit, you just maybe uh, client IDs here, okay? But if you open this, right, if you just, oh yeah, just click open and then you will get that ID and secret here, okay? Save, done. Next one is configuring the uh, GitHub. So let's finish that one also, right? GitHub, let's go to the GitHub, and you have to go to the setting, and on the bottom, right, developer setting, click on that, and you're gonna click on OAuth app, right? That is where you're gonna configure, okay? The next is click on new auth, right? Just give the name next app, whatever name you can give, right? You can add URL, localhost 3000, then authorizer callback URL, right? So this will be again same thing. See in the production, you can see now, right? You see that this is what I have in production: e5code.com API auth callback GitHub, right? But we just testing in the local, so it should be localhost 3000 API auth callback. Now is GitHub. Google has Google, right? But this is GitHub, and you don't have to select all this. Just click on register application, right? And you will come to this page. So just copy the ID, this ID, and you will go back to your auth GitHub ID, right? Just add here, okay? The next thing is generate the new client secret. Just click on that, right? It will ask you to log in and confirm. And then you're gonna reach to this place, okay? Same here, this is the ID, and now you have the secret key. Copy that, and let's add to here, right? And save. So we're done. So we have completed setting up the GitHub and Google, right? Fine. So let me close that. Now next step is, so remember in our project last time we did the credential, right? Inside here we added the credential provider like this. Then you add all that information, okay? So now it will be same like here, right? In after credential or maybe before, you're gonna call the Google. So you have to import like this: import Google nextauth, like nextauth provider Google, right? Import GitHub. So you can name it, this is the what you call that, the global, not a global, but the yeah, global export, right? So that global export. So that's why you can name it. Maybe I can name here Google is okay. Like this is also fine, you know. But if there is a name export, then you must, if the name export, then you always say, bracket like this, right? So this is the global export. That's why I can name it anything, but I will just call Google and GitHub. So how I getting all this? I will show you now. So let's go to the person 5 somewhere here. Uh, I don't know where is that, right? Better I will just type auth js, directly here. Get started, or maybe in the guide, not guide, right? I can get started is okay. Next auth, this is the installation of the nextauth v5. We have that secret, we know that we added last time, right? So this is the provider. The thing is, let's see, what I was saying is, yeah, so authentication with auth, right? Magic link, credential, and all that. But let's click on this, and it says when registering an auth application on Google, right, they will ask you to enter your application callback URL. So we have done that one. Okay, that is fine. This is the secret key, auth Google ID, right, and secret. So we added in our env file, and just import like this, right? Import Google from nextauth provider Google and use that here. That is all it's saying, right? See, normally how it worked before was we have to, like provide like this, and we have to give like the ID and what you call that ID and the secret, right? We have to provide, but it's not saying anything. Okay, I don't know why it's not saying, right? So let's see if this would work without adding all that. So you can just call it the GitHub also, fine. So once we finish here, right, it should, now we just need the somewhere to click. Okay, so see the route, how it work, right? Remember in the auth, now in the auth okay, that is the auth, right? So you have access to this auth that will give you the session. You have access to sign in and sign out, right? So I need to sign in. If I call this sign in function, right, see how it will work. Now let's go to the here is the page, right? In the component I just added the sign in page. This is a client side. Let's say this is a client side, right? There is sign in, sign out, something like that. So the function name is sign in button. Just create new function, right? Sign in button. And also there is a function called sign out button. These are the two functions added inside this page, right? I just put one place to show you, okay? And this function just returning the button, normal button tag, right? And inside, when you click that button, unclick, there is a function, callback function, which will execute sign in function, which we import from sign in nextauth React. So there is two things now. If you are in server, right? Let's say I have here another component, maybe login, right, like that, .tsx. Okay, and I can call it login, right? For example, okay. If I want to get that, you know, uh, the sign in, sign out, right? Import sign in, not that, right? The small letter. Sign in. Why I'm not getting? Let's say, yeah, this one, okay. So see, you just can call it like this directly from the auth, right? From here, and you can also call sign out from there. But again, these things happen in client side, right? So better to keep it in client, but it's okay. It's no problem, right? That is not a problem. You don't have to make client. It should work exactly like this. You can see the server page. import sign in. You don't have to put ts, okay, no need to put ts, right? That will give you error. Then export function, whatever the name of the function, and there is a form, right? And the form, inside the form you have an action. When you click the button, right, like sign in with Google, you have an action in the form. That function will execute, means basically this function will execute and just call that sign in with Google, right? It will call that, it will just take that action, okay, sign in with Google, okay. That is one thing you can do. But simply, what we can do here, right? We're just gonna call one sign in function, import that in our main page. If you just need, like, remember, if you have many provider like Google and all that, right, credential, when you put together, then you have to tell specifically, like here, look at this, sign in with, you just pass this variable or value, right, Google or GitHub or maybe credential. So when we put all this together, maybe tomorrow we'll see, if I can finish all that tomorrow, then I'll show you, right, what I mean. But right now, we are not creating any form. If I call the API sign in, right, straight, it will give me something. So let's try now. So this function is easy, sign in. I'm going to call this, right, and this is for sign out, okay. When I have this thing ready, this handler, right, this sign in and sign out, okay. If I have this, right, I can do the sign in and sign out easily, okay. So go to the page, now import that sign in and sign out button here from that sign in component. And what I'm saying now, right, this is server page. So what I'm saying is, if there is a session, right, if there is a session, means if somebody is logged in, then you just display this name, right, name and the button for sign out, okay, sign out button. If someone is logged in, then you display sign out button. If not logged in, then just display the like sign in button, right. That is what we have done here, simple logic. I can, I mean, okay, let's do this. I will just remove this right out here. For example, let's I just call the sign in button, okay. Forget about session and all that, right? Sign in button. Inside that sign in button, what we are doing, this function is just giving me that button to click, this button sign in, click that one, right. So when I click, it will run this function, okay. That is all it is doing, right. So let's do that. I have to run the project, right. 10 p.m. run dev. Oh, and also make sure in the env file you have, yeah, so you have this secret, this all things added. You must need this one, right. If not, it will give you error. So localhost, yeah, look at here, right. So I get that sign in button, okay. Can we make that button little bit nice? Yeah, I'm not using anything, I'm not using tailwind or whatever. So where is that button here? I'll just add some class name, that simple class name, uh bz purples 400, padding maybe of 2, like that, and rounded, right, rounded md, simple. I'll just copy that and also put the same thing here. So I can make this maybe that is the sign out, right. So let's make this a rate of 600, rate, okay, rate, good. Now you will see the button like that, sign in, right. Click on that and it will see, this is auto generated by nextauth, right, auto generated. I have not created any buttons or anything. It will give you auto generate. I mean, it will give you some auto generation code, right? So when we creating our own form, for login, log out, all that, right? There we have to create something like this also ourselves. Then we have to pass, if that is click on Google, right? You pass that provider Google. You click on here, you pass that one, so that the next auth configuration will know what to take action, right? Which action it will take. Okay. So we'll see that tomorrow. Let's not worry about that. Only thing is, after adding that all the variables, let's see if this work or not, right? So I'll click here, sign in, and it will bring me here, and I can, just click on this, right? And see, that was the consent, right? Information you can see here. Okay. Continue, and that's it. So I'm signing. I'm signing already. How I know that? Let's, because everything was smooth, right? There was no error. So let's go back here in application and look at this session now, right? Look at this session. Okay. So how this work, right? Basically, this work in this principle, like API auth sign in. When you call that sign in function, it work like that. Again, API auth, there is a function called sign out, right? Sign out, and this is what you get, sign out. Okay. So if I click now, right? If I click the sign out button, this will be, the session will be gone, because we are not maintaining the session inside the cookies right now. We are not maintaining, right? So that is something we have to look at. But when you sign out, that sessions will be gone, right? So look at that, is gone. Okay. You can click here, sign in with GitHub, and you will be sent here, authorize. So whatever GitHub account you have logged in, you will be authorized and you are in, right? So simple thing what we can do now, right? Simple thing is, let's say if I'm logged in, I don't want to display this. Okay, let's close this. I am not going to do anything there. I want to add some condition, right? So how I know if I'm signed in or not, right? There is something called auth now. This auth has everything now about the user logged in, right? So that is a function you execute. You can get this auth from here. This is the auth you exporting, right? Now it has information about the logged in person. It keeps the state, right? Means the information. Okay. So let's go back. So you import that auth and then you execute the function. Make sure you have that async, right? So just wait until that is executed. You get the session. Now I will add some condition here. What I will say, right? If the session dot has user, right, then display the paragraph and add some code here, like just display the name, right? Session dot user dot, you have email ID, image, all that, just display the name. Okay. I just want to display the name, right? Then I will add again next line, and I will say if there is a session, right, dot user, if there is this user, I will put this condition, right? That means if I have a user session, means I have the cookies for user, right, who is logged in, then I will just display the sign out button. Okay, the component for sign out, right? SIGN, sign out button. Okay. Else I'm not logged in, then only display this one. Right now you see all the time, right? But we can add some logic here, if someone is logged in or not, and that will give us the idea. If you look at sign out and sign in button, that is just the API route, okay, which is here. If you call that function, this function, right, is exactly what we are doing here. Like uh, go back here, API auth sign in. It's calling that path. Okay, that is this is the route, right? When you click on that button, it calls this route. Okay, sign in or maybe sign out, right? Sign out. Okay, that's the route it is calling. So now you see when I'm logged in with GitHub, you can see my name here, GitHub ID name, and the button is sign out. If I click here, it's sign out, right? You see the session is gone. Now you see the sign in button. I click, it will take me to the API auth sign in callback function, right? Whatever is there means the callback function will bring this information, and you can click and log in and log out, right? So this is the main concept on logging with the Google and GitHub. We see this one. So now the thing is putting together with our credentials, login forms, and all that, right? Now, even when you log in with this one, the information like name, email, pass, whatever, right, should be stored in the database, correct? And then from there, we can check, right? We can verify and all that. And then only you can allow people to log in. So we'll see. I will try to put all together tomorrow. If not, if not complete tomorrow, then we will just implement directly on Monday in the project. But in the project, we're not going to make so much complex. Okay, we will just make something to log in. So there is a user session, and the user can do whatever, right? Like if the user is logged in, then he can go to the certain page and do certain work. Right? This kind of things we can add, but it will be okay. Fine, guys. So I will stop here. That is all I have for this, right? And then yeah. So let me. Did I stop sharing? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so I mean basically done, right? So I will just upload the video and then uh, just look at this. You can do the revision, whatever pending from yesterday. You can look at that. Try to complete. If you have time, then just do the project revision, right? Okay, let me stop this.